Happy to be here. We are ending, it's already 1 week into March for us.
I know.
And what a week it has been. We've had a lot of interesting films. Per usual, I think we try and give it some good variety.
It was perhaps, too much whiplash in the variety this week, but,
Nothing wrong with that.
better
Nothing wrong with that.
for it in the end.
It's good to keep things interesting.
Yeah.
But hey guys, we will be talking about the teen 90s classic Varsity Blues. Before that, hello Jaime. Before that, let's talk about yesterday's film. Yesterday, we talked about the 1946 John Cocteau Beauty and the Beast, also known as La Belle et la Bête. I realized that I hadn't seen this. I couldn't remember if I had or not, but I think it was one of those things where I've seen so many clips from it, and I've seen so many images from it in film history books. This is just like a very famous, popular movie. And with that, I thought, like, well, I must have seen it. And I started watching. I was like, I definitely haven't. I would have remembered the mullets in this movie because
and those pants and the
there was
hat.
A lot going on.
The men's
also,
wardrobe is particularly bad.
The Beast's costume though was like fantastic. And like his like shoulder things that then like turned into like two separate trains. Like I'd wear that. Minus all for the 5-hour makeup that they did on him.
That makeup was so incredible, and I'd forgotten that they even had the ears. The ears even perk up when an animal comes by. And it's like, oh, then you see them flatten out again when it's like, okay, he's calmed down. I'm like, there's so many like tiny little like magical touches like everywhere in this movie to add, like, to really put you firmly in this fantasy realm. Like I was saying yesterday, like, the way gates and doors just open and close without anybody doing, and that's not like there's a cut to a close-up of a gate going ooh by itself. It's just like, no, this is just like a normal process shot of a horse-drawn carriage coming through, except the gate opens and closes by itself. It's like woven into the fabric of the movie everywhere. And I was, listening to commentary on the movie again last night, and I was surprised at like some of these really like serious, Jean Cocteau was like very seriously ill at times, like not just impetigo or boils or whatever. It was like, dental, like, you listed off all the things that he had experienced, and apparently it was like he was like legitimately hospitalized and his life legitimately, in danger at times. And it just, like, I made the comparison to Howard Ashman and the making of the animated Beauty and the Beast in the early 90s. It's kind of amazing to me that through a lot of physical pain and illness, they really, both of these artists, what got them, what these movies were like a way to sublimate their pain, in a way to live in a world of fantasy and create something that would inspire everybody from children to adult alike afterwards. And this movie even has a precursor with a message from Jean Cocteau saying, remember what it's like to be a kid. I hope when you watch this movie, you feel that. And, and those magical words, once upon a time, like there's like a deep understanding of what stories like this can do for an audience and for children and adults alike. I just loved how much love there was in this project everywhere. But like the horse, I forgot that the horse is like sparkling like diamonds when it comes in.
Her tears turn into diamonds and
all these things. But did you get a Cinderella vibe off the family dynamics also?
Yes. Yeah. So this is, I have never read the original tale, so I don't know if there were sisters in that or not. Of course, in these other adaptations, there are no older sisters. But yeah, definitely it was like, she has to do all the work, and the father seemed like cool with that. I don't know.
Yeah, that was weird to me too. And I'm like, this dad doesn't exactly seem like he's worthy of this level of devotion.
Yeah, he's as likable as some of the other adaptations.
No, definitely not. But I loved some of the others. Like, I'd forgotten that Josette Day, who plays Belle, was a dancer, which explains why she was so perfectly able to do that movement when she's running in her cloak in slow motion. And the cloak just seems to have like this life of its own. It's like perfectly undulating and flowing with every one of these dancerly steps as she's running and then going up the stairs. I'm just like, how did they? Can you imagine how difficult it is to get a shot that perfect?
Yeah,
when you have like the meagerest, things to work with to make your movie. Like I remember listening to the commentary. France couldn't even afford to shoot nobody in France. They couldn't even get access to color cameras, the lights necessary. They could not afford it. And it would be 7 more years before there would be a color film made in France. So because of World War II and everything, like there was literally no color films at all in France until the 50s. And so the commentator was like, oh, I would have loved to have seen this in color. Imagine all these jewels and this and that. And I'm like, I think it's pretty magical exactly as it is. Like her bedroom, the room that he makes for her, it's like an indoor garden.
Like, I want to sleep there.
I'm like, now I need grass carpet, real grass, and some vines for my design aesthetic.
I want to answer some of Luke's questions here. Okay, this thing with the glove, obviously it's just faster. and
it is faster, but also I thought those guys took the horse. The guys took the horse to go off, so the horse wasn't there for her to take it back. Remember Avenant and her brother, they've stolen the golden key to try to access his fortune that's in that little statue of Diana, and so they take the horse back. And remember, the sisters had to be like, God, if it was up to you, we would never get anything done. Remember, you have to say, magnifique, go where I'm going, va, 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 and then that moment, and then they ride off with it. So they don't have the horse at that moment. Or at least Belle doesn't have the horse to get back at that moment. But also, like you said, it's the quickest way. She sees it in the mirror. She sees the glove right there. I mean, also, like I said, faster. I'm like, wow, if I can do it without riding a horse there.
And then Luke's comment here about why do they want treasure when this necklace, when other people touch it, turns into not treasure. I don't think they would have made that connection. It's like maybe that was just the necklace. Maybe that was something that's like because it was a gift for her. Maybe that was enchanted. I did like that they didn't really say how the beast got to be like he was, and it wasn't until towards the end we were like, oh, and then things changed. Now to go to Samir had asked the question yesterday of, there's some debate on at the end when the beast becomes human again. Belle seems a little disappointed, and do we think that she actually was really just wanted him to stay as the beast? I think the issue was not so much, hello Andres, I think the issue was not so much that he became human, but it was which human, which I kind of wasn't expecting either, of like, wait, so it's like he just like traded places with that other guy. Because
sort of, I guess the other guy got cursed because he basically went into this place that the beast said I can never go in there. So I guess that character brought the curse on himself, and the beast is a different person. So it's not like they switched bodies or anything. It's literally just like this is what the prince looks like, and she's like, oh, well, you look like this guy that I was in love with.
Yeah, which also was strange to me because she didn't act like she was in love with that guy before.
No, I didn't think that either. But you know what? She's also
like,
a very.
You're in love with him. She's like, it's like, really? Because you like pushed him off of you. Like, I know
but like she was also very unloved in her family. So perhaps her experience of what love for someone is or what love they have for them is severely altered. Because, like you said, her dad was supposedly loving, but didn't seem that great. Her sisters were just hateful, and horrible. The brother and the guy who was supposedly were just selfish. I mean, although the guy was a little bit nicer about her dad and her than I expected him to be, because he's sort of obviously the Gaston character. And that's also, of course, the same actor. That's Jean Marais. So you get to see him in and out of the Beast makeup.
I was just happy that once he turned back into the prince, that mullet was gone, because I mean, I know that was in the times when it probably wasn't even called a mullet, but my God, that was
I don't.
That is like
Yeah, I
the
don't know what it was
mother of all
what
millennials.
it was called. Um, um, but yeah, in reference to the question of why they would think they could get that treasure. Well, obviously we know that these characters are somewhat blinded by their avarice in a way. So it's not like you're going to think that clearly when all you can picture is your own, your own riches in a way. Like they are not thinking of the dangers. Like even when you get there, it kind of validates it and they're like, hey, I don't know if we should go in. Oh, let's break through the window at the top and we'll get out later. We'll figure it out after we're in. I'm like, okay, that's proof positive. These guys are seeing only money and jewels and wealth, and they're not seeing any complications anywhere around that. Which is, of course, why Avenant gets cursed and becomes a beast himself. I do not foresee Avenant lifting that curse in his future, though, somehow. Just a thought. That's just my opinion. But, we don't even see him get out of that room. We just know that, like, well, at least he's got a nice castle to live in, all that magic. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it could be worse, really. Yeah, but this movie was just like visually absolutely stunning. This seems like a film that, they would play on TVs at like some like hipster bars somewhere with like the sound off, just because it's like visually so stunning, and they'd have that playing on the TV screens and then like some other things playing. I don't know.
To view this film in the eyes of a child logic in a way. How would you interpret that? My interpretation is just, there's a simplicity and an openness about fantasy and creativity and, alternate realities, and like you just believe in a lot more things more readily without any guilt or shame or sort of conditioned shame about it or something. Because I remember someone saying that Jean Cocteau used to talk about his films creating a realism of the unreal. And really, it's kind of a place in between reality and fantasy that children kind of operate in naturally that you can't really do as an adult. And so every now and then, you love some of these films because they kind of spark that feeling in you. Like you remember what it was like to believe that you could go off to this fantastic world and do all these things. And it just lit your imagination up with so many ideas and thoughts and places. And, it's really hard for adults to get back to that place in any way. And this film, I think, is one that gives you an avenue back to that space. So you can be an adult and appreciate on a different level, but it also gives you the opportunity to feel like that again, because you are kind of taken away by it.
That's a kind of a stigma that still goes on today that people have with fantasy or things that are maybe initially targeted for kids. Like there are still people today that give Disney adults a lot of crap. And it's like, okay, but do you watch these movies though? Like they're good. And there's so many things that any age group can take from them. Don't label it as a kid's movie. And I think that's kind of what he was trying to say with that opening too, of just like forget about, and also think about this, like immediately after World War II, this country has been through hell and back of being occupied by Nazis for years. And this, I think that was really just like inviting people to escape to another world of make-believe and fall in love with the beauty of this. Yeah.
Excellent point, Amy.
What about
I think you hit it on the head.
I like him.
I do like Vincent Cassel, correct. But I'll give it a shot. I don't know if it's going to measure up to this or the Disney version, but I am always down to watch him do almost anything.
Yeah, same. I have got.
So, thank you.
He's in a lot of movies. Here we go, Beauty and the Beast. Doesn't have the greatest reviews. Oh, well. It's included with.
Oh well, there. So even if it's not great, we don't have to pay to watch it. Good enough. Is it me frozen or is it Amy frozen? I think Amy got kicked off. I'm not sure if is anybody seeing or hearing me right now. Anybody? Okay, I see her. Erin's back, but I don't see her in. Hello, hello. Well, let me text her and see what happened. Okay. You can hear me. Amy will be back. Her internet did go out again. I've been warning her about this position in this corner of her room. It doesn't work very well, but it got her today. So if you can still see and hear me, Amy will be back shortly. We both obviously love this movie, and we want everyone else to love this movie and watch it. So if you didn't get a chance to see it, for whatever reason last night, no shame, but please watch it this weekend. You have 3 different apps to watch from. If you're an HBO Max subscriber, you can see it there. If you are a Criterion Channel subscriber, you can see it there. If you have a library card, you can join Canopy and watch it for free there. But if you're, like I said yesterday, if you're already paying for the other 2 services, Canopy gives you a limited number of movies to watch per month. So you can save one of those free viewings on Canopy for other films that you can't find on the other platforms that you subscribe to. Oh, yeah, right. Walter, I'm the same with you. I also don't always take, I think IMDb's review calculations are very weird because I once looked at the list of the reviews and it was like a lot of rando blog reviewers that their reviews and their ratings were being factored into this overall average, which I thought was not the best decision. I also don't completely trust Rotten Tomatoes. They also tend to sort of prioritize movie reviews based on the popular opinion and then create an average that matches the popular opinion. I think Metacritic is the better one because they're a little more honest in how they break everything down and rate them, and you get a more honest average of critical consensus in that sense. But yeah, sorry, we were just filling time, maybe, until you found your way back.
Sorry. I have a theory now that I wonder if my internet stops working when the microwave is on. Because as soon as the microwave, my mom turned it on, as soon as the microwave turned off, the internet was back. You have to test that theory out later.
That's very possible. So basically for 30 minutes, no one's allowed to use the microwave in your house from now on.
I guess so.
Is this because you all make your tea in the microwave?
I don't anymore. I use the kettle, okay? But my mom still,
good.
I am seriously going to have her test that theory out later because that's very strange. But hey, guys,
really completely went out, but
yeah, I was trying. No, really did that thing again where there were like no bars on there. Okay, here we go. I was trying to look up this 2014 Beauty and the Beast. It looks interesting. I might have to watch
that. We'll get around to it.
Yeah, again, it's included on Prime, so that's cool. Anyway, but if you didn't see Le Belle et le Bête, it's on.
I covered that.
You did? Cool. Let's just move on.
So we can move right along when we came back.
So Cult Classic Friday, Varsity Blues. This is one that was picked by the lovely Crystal for our Patreon pick. This is one of her all-time favorites. James Vanderbeek was her crush for a long time.
Look how young he looks. He has such a baby face in this. Because I was not the biggest Dawson's Creek fan. I always thought, I was like, I love the idea that there's somebody who loves movies and wants to be a director as a character in a show, but I just didn't buy any of it from that show. So I was never like into that show in the same way. But when this movie came out, I remember being like, oh, well, maybe I need to reassess. This movie looks kind of sexy. Even if it's got girls in whipped cream bikinis and not dudes.
Yeah, and to bring back Crystal's previous comment, I decided to not do that costume for today.
What were you gonna even try? I was not anticipating that you would try. I love James Vanderbeek actually now. Because when I was the age that these shows were out, I thought I was being cool by hating on things other people liked. We all kind of go through that as teenagers or something that like, I'm going to prove that I'm better because I'm not in this, like, you know, brainwashed crowd or whatever. But then I saw him in the sitcom Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23, which is just one of the funniest sitcoms I've ever seen. And he's basically playing himself, but he's playing this version of himself that people who hate him imagine him to be. So he gets to, like, make fun of this, like, you know, star who's beloved by too many young girls and is drunk on his own fame after it's sort of dissipated since the show. Like one genuine comic genius, like, in that show, him
Really?
playing himself. And I was like, okay, I think people, including me, have been giving James Van Der Beek way too hard a time for too long, because that show proved without a doubt to me that he is hysterically funny and genuinely very gifted as an actor. But I didn't see these movies in their entirety back in the day because I thought it was too cool for them. So I waited till they were on cable and then, you know, watched bits here and there.
Now,
so this will be a treat.
I missed out on the Dawson's Creek craze. I grew up without TV. That'd be something where I'd have to go back and try to watch that. And I probably wouldn't be allowed to watch that. I was a kid. I was an actual kid. Yeah, so I probably wouldn't even be allowed to watch it, but I certainly knew what it was and knew that it was a really huge film. My first introduction to this movie, which I have not seen this actual movie. My first introduction was seeing this parodied, of course, in Not Another Teen Movie, which has become a cult classic in its own right. Mm-hmm. And I saw that movie before I saw a lot of the movies that it made fun of. And wait, Varsity Blues is on Netflix?
Oh, really? Well, I thought you looked, Amy. But Crystal, I did not know that you guys used to watch that. Was that before I started working at the Orpheum? I mean, granted, I started working there in like 8-9 years ago, but on
Netflix. Maybe she saw.
I'm like, by the time I started working there, there was no TV with VCR that was operating in the manager's office downstairs. Yeah. So wait, it's not, or it is on Netflix?
Not. No, it's not. Oh, Dawson's Creek is. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I checked. This movie's only available to rent. Yeah, but that's how I know it from. I know the same character that plays Billy Bob pretty much plays himself in Not Another Teen Movie. So this movie came out in, wait, I don't have this pulled up. This came out in, I think, 98?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, or no, I'm sorry, 99. This was produced by MTV. A backup quarterback is chosen to lead a Texas football team to victory after the star quarterback is injured. Big cast here. James Van Der Beek, Jon Voight, Paul Walker, Ron Lester, Scott Caan, Amy Smart. I guess this was Ali Larter's film debut, and what a debut. She's
really?
That comes out in this little whipped cream bikini.
I mean, then the only other thing I remember her from is Heroes and Legally Blonde.
Ali Larter. I've seen her in a lot of stuff. I think I could also tell that this is one of the many movies from Not Another Teen Movie where they parodied the token black guy being in these movies, because there is in all these 90s teen movies. There's always the token black guy, never the lead. He's just one of the friends.
Oh yeah, Jon Voight is a problem, Crystal. I agree. I don't remember how much he's actually in this movie. Obviously, most sensible people are not fans of who he has become since his glory days.
I think he used to be quite a talented actor. Kind of went a little crazy. A
little crazy, but this movie also has Amy Smart, who I know Amy is familiar with from one of her favorite garbage cinema classics, Rat Race.
I knew you were going to say Rat Race, and then you said garbage cinema, and I was like, he's not talking about Rat Race then. And then you
of course I am. That movie is pure garbage, and it's hilariously entertaining garbage.
Ensemble comedies ever made is Rat Race.
No, it's very entertaining, but I will not call it one of the. I would not call it great.
It's fantastic.
I would call it very entertaining.
Fantastic, timeless comedy.
I know Amy really, really loves Rat Race. Someday we'll talk. We'll let you decide how great it is for yourself.
I will die on that hill.
I realize that it's going to be a lonely hill.
I'm gonna be really sad to watch this because of Paul Walker. Paul Walker is someone, when he died, he was always one of my favorite actors. Acknowledging that, maybe he wasn't necessarily known for being like, oh, he's in these like really great roles, but I'd seen him in quite a few things, and I think a lot of people gave him crap that might not have been fully deserved. And I was just so sad when he died. I seriously cried for like 2 days. And I don't know if I've watched any of his movies since he died. And it's been several years now. Like, that's how much. So this is going to be huge for me to actually, even earlier today, I was randomly, long story short, I was looking through old, or not old, like kind of somewhat recent hit songs from the last several years. And that one from, Until I See You Again, that they use one of the Fast and Furious things. I started watching that music video, and that was after Paul Walker died, and they were showing all these clips of him from the movies, and I had to stop watching the music video. I was like, no, I can't watch this. So this is going to be interesting for me to watch.
Oh, well, that's very nice. I'm sure he would have been very happy to know that there were fans who were that in love with him.
Yeah.
That and even the music video or the sound of the song.
I have a Paul Walker autograph that, who knows if it's real, I bought on eBay when I was like 14. And the actual signature has almost faded from existence since then. But I have it, so I'm always looking at Paul Walker. He's on my wall.
You always have the memory.
Yes, no, I love Paul Walker. So this will be an interesting thing to watch. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to really say about this movie, except that this really, this was a popular film when it came out. I think it had like a $15 million budget and made over 50, which is pretty decent. Especially for something that didn't have like the greatest of reviews, but it's just one of those classic 90s teen coming of age films.
I think this is a legit cult classic of the 90s, and I am just sad that I missed the days when there was something to watch movies on in between shifts at the Orpheum. Crystal, when things come back, you're gonna have to work on Saturdays so we can have some sort of similar moment happening. We'll figure out if it's still going to be Varsity Blues or if we'll pick a new movie for that. But we're going to watch Varsity Blues this weekend for damn sure.
Would you watch the same movie every week?
Well, I mean, we work in a theater where the same show is playing every day.
Well, so I get that, but
seeing something over and over again is not as disturbing a concept to someone who works in a theater as it is to people who don't work in a theater. You have to embrace that you're going to hear and see something multiple times. I mean, we have the same, imagine if you worked in New York as an usher. If you worked in New York as an usher, you would never see anything but that show until the run ended. And that run could go on for months and months and months.
Not years.
And, we had that experience with Hamilton at our theater, which, a lot of people are very jealous of. Obviously now, but so we would see and hear the same thing over and over, and you have to just, your mind acclimates to that, so you can find pleasure in going over a movie. And I don't know if it was every Saturday they would put this video in or whatever, but we did have a shelf of VHSs in that office, and I used to ask why they were here because there was no TV or VCR in the room, but they kept the movies there, and I would be like, well, what are these for? Those would become real handy on, slow days where we didn't have anywhere to go. Because I lived across the bay. I wasn't going to go home and come back in between shifts or any of that. So, it'll be nice to revive a little tradition like that someday when the theater's open again.
That does sound fun. Well, I'm excited to watch this and possibly be depressed about Paul Walker. But maybe this will be, because there are some other Paul Walker movies I've been wanting to see that I haven't seen, that I haven't watched, because I was just like, it's just going to make me sad. So now that I have to watch this, maybe that will make me finally watch some of these other roles. That
it's time to grow, Amy.
He deserves to have some of these movies watched.
Grow with love.
I know. He was such a beautiful man. He seemed like such a nice person. Like, yeah, I was just like devastated when he died. Anyway.
Well, That's life, Amy.
I know. But please watch Varsity Blues this weekend. This is unfortunately only available to rent, but you can rent it pretty much anywhere you can rent things. You can rent on Prime, Apple TV, Vudu, YouTube TV, any of those. I think it's like a $3 rental or something. It's Friday.
Juju, voodoo, no.
Yeah, Voodoo, Netflix, YouTube.
Ooh, there's a parody video waiting to be made there between us, Amy. I think we gotta work on that.
Hulu,
Voodoo,
YouTube. We will never get over the Merry Widow. It's Friday. It's our Patreon Appreciation Day. Thank you to our Patreons. My Aunt Julia, Crystal, who, of course, this was today's pick, was Crystal's, Nicole Flax Tatlick, Mr. Andres Gallego, Donna Robinson, and Mr. Walter Murray, who picked our film from Monday. That was Monday's thing, right? Yeah, with The Hustler.
Yes, The Hustler.
Yeah, you guys are much appreciated, each and every one of you, no matter what tier you are in. We're already putting together our April calendar. Those who are screenwriter tiers are the ones who Venmo us separately. Yeah, they've already been contacted about movies because next month is Oscar month, and Samir and I are taking it very seriously.
Very, very seriously. There are a lot of darlings being killed that we just do not have room for as it is.
Or we've already talked about, or at this point,
that's true. There was
doing this for months and months and months. Walter made some great suggestions earlier. We're like, we've already done 2 of these because we've just been doing the show for so long.
Right. If we had known that we would have to plan an Oscar show for the next year,
or
an Oscars month for the next year, there's certain movies that, like, you know what? We could have held back The Merry Widow because that's an Oscar winner for its sets. We could have saved Barbra Streisand for a Best Actress, talk about Funny Girl. But we already talked about Barbra Streisand with a different movie. We already did The Merry Widow, which of course live in our hearts forever.
Yes.
Now,
and we will just watch it again.
But there's so many that we're like, oh, we could do. No, we already did that one. Oh, let's do. No, we already did that one. No, wait. No, we already did that one. So we tried to come up with a way to sort of bring up movies that maybe or people that it would be nice to remind you. Maybe they haven't been the biggest stars since their win or something like that. We're trying to pick a nice balance.
Yeah, there is a method.
Popular stuff that we think should be popular, that we just think people should love or know about. Lots of fun stuff.
There's a method to our madness with these calendars that we put out. But thank you to our Patreons for helping us make a little money off this. At the very least, not spend any money on this. Again, it costs $30 a month for me to use Be Live, which doesn't work sometimes, apparently.
Right.
It pisses me off. But we really, really appreciate it. And especially the screenwriters who help shape our calendar each month. So thanks so much. We appreciate it greatly. On Monday, for our Man Crush Monday, we're going back to musicals. We will be talking about Fred Astaire, the fabulous Fred Astaire, who we've gotten glimpses of in previous films, but we haven't had a day completely devoted to him. We'll be also watching another Vincent Minnelli film, another Vincent Minnelli musical, to be exact. I think this will be the 3rd Vincent Minnelli film that we've done. We did Meet Me in St. Louis. We did The Cobweb. And now we're going to be doing this. Yeah.
And now we're going to be doing The Bandwagon.
So please join us on Monday for our discussion of Varsity Blues. Moving on to The Bandwagon. Thank you all so much for watching today, and we hope to see you Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Keep the party going with us on our Instagram at Book Club for Movies. I usually do like a little thing that's just like, what movies are you watching? And people are like, I'm watching this. And then I post it in our story. Real fun. So if that's
real
interested in, join us on Instagram. Thank you guys again for watching.